What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. I suppose if you're watching it Wednesday, most of you will. Appreciate everyone who helped with the tea launch over at coffeebrandcoffee.com. I think we've got a couple hundred orders already in the hopper. If you want to take advantage, they launch Friday. Pre-ordering starts today, but then they'll hopefully start shipping maybe late Thursday. So it's not really much of a pre-order, but it does help ensure that my staff doesn't have to work sun up to sundown and give up their entire weekend, because I'm like a pretty good boss, so I appreciate that. Now, it would appear that there is even more humiliation on the horizon for Ms. AH, as now JD's lawyers have been on the media tour, essentially just dunking on her nonstop. Now, her lawyer was out originally trying to make her appear sympathetic, and it didn't really work. Now the lawyers for JD are out there, and they're just, you almost, and I mean almost, feel bad for her. His lawyers on TV now talking about her owing him $10.35 million. Quote, "It was never about the money. This is actually genius." Like, legitimately genius. They're out there now hinting at, and it might very well be the truth, that he's going to let her off the hook. That he's going to not make her pay the money, which would be, in my opinion, even more humiliating. Like, yeah, I crushed you in court, and I took all of your money, plus money you don't currently have, but you know what? I'll let you live. I'll let you, well, through my grace and my pious piety, I'm not going to make you pay. And then, so he sends the lawyers out there to do that, which in turn is like $10 million worth of humiliation to him. Now, for me, I would want to collect every penny. But I'm sure that JD has plenty of dough. And yes, getting that money would have been nice for him. I don't think, first of all, here's why it's such an evil genius spin. Okay. She doesn't have the money, allegedly. Now, if she did rescind her promise to donate the $7 million that she bilked off him in the divorce, she'd have almost all of it, just $3 million short. Well, it's like $8 million. So she'd have almost all of it if she paid him back his money, pay him his money. But if she follows through with the donation, which she can no longer do. So essentially he's playing fourth dimensional chess. He knows that she can't pay him. So what do you do with that fact? Knowing you're not going to get any money, right? He cuts off her ability to say, "Oh, well, I can't. Oh, because of my lawsuit, I can't give this money to sick kids. Instead, I have to give it to a Hollywood zillionaire," and try to make him look bad. Now, with his strong supporters, I don't think it would work, but in the media, it might. Instead of allowing her that ammunition, he's out there leaking the idea that he doesn't even care about the money. Because if she follows through on her donation to the ACLU and the Children's Hospital, and after she pays her legal fees, she's not going to have much money left. And even though, in my opinion, her baby is Elon Musk's, which is why he paid the $500,000 in the first place, she doesn't have any prospects for getting cash. And she's going to face, I think, a dark period, not for very long, because she's a woman in Hollywood, but she will definitely lose roles because of this, and rightfully so. Quote, JD's attorney Benjamin Chu says that the actor's defamation suit against his ex was about restoring his reputation, and he's done that. So on Wednesday, 1 week after he won all 3 defamation claims of the case, he was awarded $15 million in damages by the jury. His lawyers, Camille Vasquez and Benjamin Chu, appeared on Good Morning America, where Chu told George Snuffleupagus that his client was only interested in restoring his reputation during the 6-week trial. You all have said that the goal was not to impoverish her. Is it possible we could see a settlement where she forgoes the appeal in return for JD waiving any monetary damages? Asked Snuffleupagus. Quote, we obviously can't disclose any attorney-client communications, but as JD testified, and we both made clear in our respective closings, this was never about the money for him, he responded. This was about restoring his reputation, and he's done that. I would think that that's probably true. Now, I don't know, there's all sorts of stories about him having money problems. These people never really have money problems. He's got like 20 properties that are all worth, millions of dollars that he could sell. He's got, I'm sure assets in the millions in property and wine and all this stuff that he doesn't need, that he could sell and be totally fine for the rest of his life. But, I want to see him take the money, but I can understand why this move might be the 40 chess. Chu's statements come after her lawyer said on the Today Show last week that her client would absolutely not be able to pay the money. The Aquaman 2 actress will only have to pay $10.35 million due to Virginia law capping the punitive damages. The judge reduced the amount, and she was awarded $2 million in damages against JD in the defamation countersuit she brought. So it's, 8.5 or whatever. She also said that she plans to appeal the verdict. She can't even afford to appeal it. I don't even understand. This is after a report yesterday that the jury was literally falling asleep. On Wednesday's episode of the Today Show, Chu told Savannah Guthrie that it was very disappointing to hear that and to hear Bretta Hoft impugn the character of the jury. There was so much evidence going after the jury, basically. The evidence came in that should come in, and the judge was very particular to both sides. Speaking of Bretta Hoft's mention of the UK suit that he did lose back in November 2020, Vasquez said on Today, it was a different process, and also JD and AH in this case were the parties. They had different disclosure obligations. We disagree, she stressed. The overwhelming evidence that was presented in the case of Virginia far exceeded what was presented in the UK. We believe the jury got it right. Ahead of Chu and Vasquez's appearance on Today and Good Morning America, a spokesperson for AH said in a statement provided to People, it is as unseemly as it is unprofessional that his legal team has chosen to do a victory lap for setting back decades of how women are treated in the courtroom. What's next? A movie deal and merchandising? I hope so. Melt down much? And girl, you had a victory tour already planned. You had planned to appear on these very same shows the day after the jury, I believe, the day after the day after that, or 2 days later, that you didn't show up for because you were so embarrassed. But if you had won, we all know you'd be there. If you had won, we all know you would have been there. And it's funny that, again, she tries to make this some sort of, free speech issue and, trying to say, oh, this affects all women. No. You are not all women. You are one woman who raises her hands to her romantic partners on multiple occasions. These are not my opinions. These are the facts. Even people, so there's a DV nonprofit facing backlash for supporting her. So the National Coalition Against DV has experienced an onslaught of hatred from JD fans since the high-profile cast began, especially after expressing that the NCADV stood with her. I'm assuming there was some sort of donation. Right? In a statement posted to their website, the NCADV analyzed the implications the case might have, saying, what spilled out of the courtroom and into the media, including social media, was a bad person exerting control and manipulating the media and a loyal fan base to go after the victim. But that's not the case. The facts of the case were not on her side, and people continue to like go and like gaslight, try to like say, no. I've heard the tapes. I've heard the tapes where she admitted to raising her hands to him and gaslit him and made fun of him for not liking that. But that never happened. I mean, I heard it, but it never happened. I mean, she said it, but it never happened. You know, you have Camilla Vasquez and Benjamin Chu going on all these shows. Camilla just made partner, by the way. And, you know, this is a victory lap, but they've earned it, right? I don't know what JD had to pay them in terms of, you know, fees, but I'm sure it was a lot. Vasquez also went on, that the verdict was any kind of setback to the Me Too, saying, I think our response to that is that we encourage anybody on the receiving end of bad behavior to come forward. DV does not have a gender. Again, pointing out that this is an issue that affects men too. She went on to say the facts are what they are. The jury made a unanimous decision based on those facts. Vasquez said her team's cross-examination of her was focused on using her words against her, saying it was very important to them that every question that was asked was tied to something she had said previously. I think the jury got to see, and the world got to see and hear from her in that relationship on every single topic, she continued. Chu said that there was a real contrast between her and him on the stand. JD took ownership of a lot of things, and it seemed at times, and perhaps it came through to the jury, that she had an answer for everything, and she wasn't taking accountability for anything, and I think that made a difference. Chu also said that he felt that social media played no role whatsoever in the verdict. This was a decision made by the jury based on the evidence presented to both sides, and as Camille said, it was overwhelmingly in his favor, Chu said. Chu said that the case was about restoring JD's reputation, and he's done that. Now, both of them have become famous on social media throughout the weeks-long trial, something Vasquez said has been both surreal and overwhelming for her. She said, if I'm being honest, it's a bit overwhelming, but if I can be an inspiration to young women that want to go on to law school and study and work hard, it was all worth it. Well, it certainly seems like it was all worth it. Enjoy your victory lap. Enjoy it with a delicious cup of one of our 6 new blends of fully organic teas, or our 6 blends of coffee, or 3 blends of hot cocoa at coffeebrandcoffee.com. Support the channel, enjoy a beverage, and I appreciate your viewership.